Hey everyone, and welcome to autumn.
Champions!
What are the champions? Terrible weather. Summer's over, Robbie.
Remember last time we was down here, right? I think it was t-shirts, shorts.
What, a week ago?
I mean? Yeah, a week ago. Welcome to England, people. Welcome to the United Kingdom. This is what we have to put up with. 1 week, it can be really sunny. The next week, rain's falling. The next week after that is snowing. This is England. Yeah. But we love it.
And I want to say welcome to PSV fans who will be experiencing it, but this is not their first trip to the Emirates. Only last year we faced them in the Europa League, and what was it, about 15 years ago, that brutal night in the Champions League we talked about. We'll go through all of it. This is your preview. Arsenal are back in the Champions League, Robbie. And this feels great. I've been at AFTV nearly 3 years now, and it's kind of weird to think, when I was there, it was that terrible winter of the bad results. Will Arteta stay? Will he not? And I was one of the people that said maybe it's time for a change. 3 years on, we've seen, you know, a run for the Champions League that, okay, didn't go the way we wanted, but we end up getting back in it, a title race. Now here we are seeing the team start really well. We've got players like Declan Rice, and we're back here with the music we want to hear, not the whoa, whoa, which is still a banger. Don't let anyone tell you it's not.
It's not a banger. I don't like it.
Let us know in the comments below if it's a banger. And we're back, man. It's great.
We're back, and you know what? I've got something even more incredible, right? Like, for me, it's like really weird, because when I first started doing the channel, we were always in the Champions League. We were in the Champions League every single year. And I remember, like, obviously, we started towards the end of it in particular, not getting any closer to winning it. Yeah. And I remember so many times I'd speak to fans outside the Emirates or over in Europe, and they'd be saying things like, you know what, I don't even want to be in it. Let's be out of it for a year, because we're never going to win it. So let's be out of it for a year. Our team's not good enough to win it and stuff like that. And then we did drop out of it, because remember, what we was in it for, like, we've been in it 20 times.
Years, yeah. Right?
And then we have been out of it for 7 years. And it's absolutely incredible that we've been out of it for that long. So to be back in the Champions League, I think is going to be really, really exciting. You know, I'm excited, you know, and speaking to fans even at the Everton game, they're excited for the Champions League. You know what I mean? There was a lot of fans when I was sort of saying, right, North London derby this weekend, they were going, hold on. Before that, Champions League, can't wait. You know what I mean? So it's a really exciting moment. I think it's going to be exciting for Mikel Arteta as well. First time managing Arsenal in the Champions League. And you think about it, it's going to be exciting for a lot of Arsenal players. Saka, you know, even though, you know, a lot of people consider him to be a player being on his way to being world class, these are the competitions where you can really show football how good you are and how important you are, you know what I mean? So Saka, Declan Rice has never played in the Champions League.
I know.
You know, a player of that quality. Yes, he lifted a trophy last year in the Conference League, but he's never played in this competition. You know what I mean? So I think for certain Arsenal players, it must be really exciting. When they hear that music, there's going to be goosebumps for some of those players as well.
And you'll know better than most that the Emirates crowd has been electric, especially post-COVID. They've seen this kind of resurgence of the Arsenal team. Arteta's played a massive part, but the fans have played their part in what this Arsenal team have been doing in their growth. And the Emirates has been, I want to say, a fortress, because largely we've been very good here. Okay, there's the odd slip up, but generally, especially last season and okay, this season drew with Fulham, but there's been a lot to kind of we've really enjoyed our football here, and I think the atmosphere is going to be electric. It's
going to be electric, and a bit like COVID, right? It was like COVID. We were away from here again. We were sort of whinging a bit and moaning a bit about performances, and then COVID came, and this was taken away from us.
Yeah.
And so when we came back now, it's like, a greater appreciation for what we lost during that period. And I think that's kind of helped, along with obviously an upturn in the team and groups like the Ashburton Army coming in and helping the atmosphere.
Yeah, very
you know
true.
what I mean? But I think one of the big things was we were away from this as well. So it's similar with the Champions League. We've been out of it for a long time. It's not a thing now that we're used to, right? So now we're back in it. We're back in on the big time, even though our group is a lot of teams that you normally play in the Europa League. And I think people are going to be really buzzing for this.
I think people are super excited. If there's one thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm super excited. I'm not trying to say it like a spoiled child or whatever. There's one thing that slightly knocks just 1% off my excitement is that we're playing a team we played in the group stages of Europe last season. That is the one thing, and that's no disrespect to PSV. I thought they gave us 2 good games last year, and I've got no doubt this will have its challenges too. It's just that you think, right, something different. But it's the same. You always want. It's like cup ties when you're drawn in the FA Cup. You want someone. That's why Oxford was exciting last year. It's something different.
But I see it differently, James. I see it as an opportunity to get through the group. Right now.
Yeah, but could we have had someone else?
We could have done, but right now, when that group came out and I saw PSV and I saw, Sevilla, and teams like that, I was like, this is a group we can actually top this group and actually get through it. And it's no disrespect to those teams. I mean, Sevilla, great history in European competition, but not so much in the Champions League. And I'm like, with the quality of players we have, this is a group that definitely we can win.
Yeah.
Especially with our home form, which then, when we get through that group now, your other big boys are going to come in. So, for me, it's an opportunity. I get it. I mean, how great would it have been to be playing Real Madrid here or something like that? But I think at this stage, this is the perfect way to ease back into this competition. Yeah. We haven't been in it for a long time. It's a different competition. It's one of the things I used to remember about it from before is that it's different to the Premier League. You know what I mean? You've got to be very patient and very disciplined in how you play. You can't just go gun-ho, rushing out in this competition. A lot of experience is required. And this is where even maybe Kai Havertz may come in as a player who's played in this. Jorginho, these players who've played in this competition, because we've got a lot of players who haven't actually played in it.
Yeah, so very true.
It's different. It is definitely different to the Premier League. You know what I mean? There's a little less physicality allowed in it than what you have in the Premier League. So I think kind of having these games where these are winnable games and we kind of ease our way back in and again build a momentum so that when we do hopefully get a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or Bayern or AC Milans and these things, we're ready.
Yeah,
we're ready.
I agree, and it's not just a different competition, it's actually a different PSV. Last year we came up against the likes of Ibrahima Sangare, Simmons, who we know. Who did he go back to? Did he go to...
Simmons went back to PSG and then I think they sent him on loan to Leipzig.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because they had this crazy buyback clause where they could buy him back for next to nothing, PSG.
Fine, fair enough.
So, yeah.
Gakpo as well, we know he joined Liverpool in January, but we had to face him twice.
Yeah.
But... that all sounds great. Oh, brilliant. Probably their 3 best players, or certainly the 3 that I was kind of most worried about going into those games. But they have brought in Hirving Lozano, very tricky, exciting
Mexican,
winger.
Good player.
Yeah, Noah Lang, and Armel Bella Kotchap from Southampton on loan. So they've added something at the back there. Look, Arsenal should still approach this and largely have not too many problems. But it's about managing the occasion as well as it is the opposition. Because even when we beat them here 1-0 last year, we did lose 2-0 away. We actually struggled to, when we did rotate a little bit, we struggled to get back to that level. Against Everton, we rotated and we were good. But we're going to see more rotation here.
Yeah, I think it's really also hard to compare last year because the level of rotation in games. So like when we went away to play PSV, even though it was a fairly strongish side, there was still a lot of rotation. Whereas I think come Wednesday night, there won't be massive rotation from what you saw on Sunday. You know what I mean? Saka will start.
Yeah.
Your main players, Declan Rice will start. You know what I mean? This is what they're here for, these games. You know what I mean? So, whereas in the Europa League, they may not necessarily have started. It may have been we got North London derby at the weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's leave out Rice and start Jorginho and stuff like that. It's a different competition. So it's hard to compare it completely to last year. But the one thing we do know is that we beat them at home last year and we got to repeat that.
Can I confess something to you, Robbie? Yeah. See all these Europa League games, especially the conference, the group stage. And I'm not trying to disrespect that competition, but I never took these other games as seriously as the Premier League. Like basically, for the last 7 years, for me, it's been, especially the first half of the season, it's been the only Arsenal games that matter right now, the Premier League. And then if we go on a run in one of these cups, I'll get excited. And that doesn't mean that we should be going out. That doesn't mean it's acceptable to go out.
Especially at this stage, right? Especially when you see like Europa League.
I just mean that early part.
Yeah, now, in Europa League, when you don't really, you're like, we're going to go through. in that group. We're going to go through.
Yeah, hate to say, but yeah,
I
that is how it is.
I would have trotted along here on a Thursday night and hope to have seen changes.
Yeah.
Hope to have seen, I'd probably be saying, I hope to see Reece Nelson start.
Yeah.
And let's start Smith Rowe because let's give them time. And this one's different.
Yeah.
This competition is completely different because you're like, nah, the big boys have to start and we need to win it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's this excitement. Suddenly there's 2 games a week that really matter.
Yeah.
Like this isn't, and you know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking, PSV at home, is it going to feel like some of these big Premier League games? But hold on, the nerves I feel when we're playing, with all due respect, because obviously there's no easy side in the Premier League, but Bournemouth at home, I'm thinking, they're tough, they've got some players, we can't afford to drop points. This is the same now.
Exactly the same.
Because you've only got 6 games before then, the 2 qualify for the knockouts, and then it gets really serious. You don't want to finish second in that group because you're likely making it so much harder for yourself to qualify through to the quarters.
Yeah.
So all this matters, especially in the home games.
Especially in the home games, because you need to win your home games. If you can pick up 9 points from your home games and nick a win away somewhere, you're there. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important for Arsenal to win our home games. Very, very important for us to make this a fortress. And it's a good test. Would you say they're the next best team in the group? Probably between them and Sevilla.
Yeah, probably Nick. But Sevilla haven't had a great start. They haven't signed Sergio Ramos.
And again, they've lost players. I think Arsenal, out of all the teams in this group, when you look at the investment that we put in the summer and what we've done, we've improved our squad a lot. We're in a good place to have this game. And I think as well, even though we've had a bit of it hasn't been a fluid start to the season, I think the last couple of games, has put the confidence back. I agree, the big win over Man United, real confidence boost there, great atmosphere, big game.
Yeah.
And then, to go away to Everton, a place where, we last 5 games previous to Sunday, we'd lost 4 and only drawn 1. And to turn that around and to really win that comfortably, it was a comfortable 1-0. The players can go into this game against PSV in a lot of confidence. They also be confident because they've got off to a good start. But I think, this is a game where we'll be looking to let's get off to our Champions League campaign on a good start and then also have more confidence going into the North London derby on Sunday.
Yeah, I completely and utterly agree. Now, a reminder, our last time in this competition was that 10-2 aggregate defeat to Bayern Munich. So we've had to sit on that for 7 years. That was our last contribution to this.
Is that the last game?
That was our last contribution to this.
That's why everybody was saying, I don't want to be in it anymore. Just get us out.
Yeah, get us away from this humiliation. And what did we do in the Europa League? No, we never won it.
No,
so,
won it.
PSV, they've played 4 games in their league so far this season. They've won all 4. They sit top of the league. They've scored 13 goals, only conceded the 1. So we are coming up against an also very confident side. So I'm really, really looking forward to the tie. Just a reminder of some injuries. There will be a Predict 11 video. Look out for it on the channel coming out a little bit later. We're going to, that's going to be fun, by the way. Arteta's making it so difficult to predict what he's going to do.
Who goes in goal?
But what we do know, some of the injury news, Timber still out with a long-term knee injury. Partey out with a groin problem, could be back in a couple of weeks' time though. And Martinelli, we don't know anything on a time frame, but it is a hamstring injury that took him off against Everton. Trossard came on and did the business. And we mentioned rotation is going to be important, Robbie. And we'll obviously discuss in more detail in the Predict 11, but it just adds to this sense of anticipation going into this game. Like, what is Arteta going to do?
And remember, the North London derby's at the weekend.
And you can't... You want to focus on the fact we're back in the Champions League, and that's what matters, right? Just for Wednesday, we focus on that, but you can't help but have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel, though, that it's still so early in the season that mad rotation is not required.
No, I agree. No, he won't.
Because,
he won't
I just look on it and say, these players are still fresh. They haven't, it's not like they've played like 20-odd games or whatever, so...
I'm with you on that.
I don't expect there to be mass changes, but there's going to be a few interesting ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Most interesting one, and I'm sure we'll discuss it in the Predicted 11, is who starts in goal.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And we will discuss that.
There's your...
but who starts in goal for this game, Is there going to be a Champions League goalkeeper and a Premier League goalkeeper?
Could they both play in one match? That's what Arteta's been saying. Maybe sub him on. Need a goal. Rambo up front. Off you go.
And I've got a theory around how that might possibly work as well.
Oh, we've got to have this chat. Okay, everyone, look out for the Predict 11. It will be coming out very shortly. If you download the AFTV Plus app, that is your chance to build your 11s. Tag us on socials, and we'll get to see what you would go with and all what you think Arteta's going to go with. And that's far harder to put together. We're going to do that Predict 11. Your prediction, Robbie?
I know for some reason we don't keep clean sheets at home.
No, I've gone 3-1 on forever.
That's the only problem with keeping a clean sheet at home.
Yeah.
Away. But I want us to play like really disciplined and patient.
Yeah.
I'll go 2-0, man. Let's keep a clean sheet. 2-0. 2-0 to Arsenal.
I think Lee Judges said the same. I'll stick with my 3-1 from Forever Arsenal. Yeah, I think we'll concede. I actually think Arteta will try and be somewhat exciting. I think you'll see it as an opportunity to try and just, let go of the.
Yeah, they'll have a go as well because Ruud van
Nistelrooy.
Ruud van Nistelrooy kind of has a go with his team, doesn't he? So.
Oh yeah, of course, Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ty will have a lot to say.
Yeah, he will.
All right, check out all our coverage here on AFT. There'll be a live watch along fan zone as well, where you can once again join us via the AFTV Plus app and all the fan cams, including Ty, after the game. We'll see you soon. Come on, Arsenal.